steady shooting. I made you look.
You a slave to a page in my rhyme book. Bass.
Hello guys, Turbocharged 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world, and welcome back to the Motorsport Lounge Podcast, where we talk about the real life Formula 1 Grand Prix. Guys, today you guys are in for a special one because I don't only have Super Boosted as a guest, but today we are joined by Johnny as well. Johnny, how are you today?
Good, thanks.
You ready for today?
Very.
Guys, he's a little bit shy. We'll get him warmed up throughout the podcast. And Boosted, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
Good.
And guys, fun don't have to listen to the softness of Boosted because they are using my proper mic and I am using the softer one because I'm always allowed now. But let's jump straight in towards the topics. The first topic we will be talking about is Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc's fantastic start. I probably need to mention, we're talking about this past weekend's Spanish Grand Prix. And yeah, what a start from Verstappen and Leclerc. I mean, Leclerc's move around the outside of Bottas at turn 3. I got a little bit of Fernando Alonso 2012 vibes when I saw that. And Max just, yeah, I think he saw Lewis and he was just like, nah, my turn to lead. So, yeah, Booster, obviously you're going to say something about Max.
Yeah, I think Max was like, yeah, you got pole, I'm leading now. It's my turn.
Johnny, do you want to add anything on to that?
Not really.
We'll get him more talkative. I'll have to pinch him.
Yeah, but one thing that I have to talk about, remember the past few years, especially you, Boosted, the Red Bull wasn't a good car to launch. I mean, especially last year.
No, they didn't want... Can I get the mic? They didn't want to launch. They always almost went into anti-stall.
Yeah, that's the thing. This year, the Red Bulls to me look like the cars that launched the best off of the grid. And that is why Max, even Lewis was quicker on the 5 red lights, if you look at the footage closely. And yet, when they went into 4th gear, Max was already alongside him. So Red Bull and Honda have clearly sorted out the launch of that Red Bull as well. I think Max and Sergio did a lot of clutch exercises because the Honda engine, the clutch that was attached, wasn't a friendly clutch as well. I know, especially Albon last year complained a lot about the clutch.
I think Max Verstappen is more like, he's driving a little bit more angry. He is driving very angry from the launches. I think he's just, I'm not going to be the nice guy that's going to give you that gap. I'm taking that gap and I'm pushing you wide.
I mean, he was a bit harsh on Lewis. I mean, Lewis literally had to go off track to avoid Max. I really thought the FIA would actually, you know, give Max a little bit of a smack on the wrist for that.
I also thought that, but I think everyone is liking it because no one in a couple of years did that to Hamilton. So it's like, I know that's wrong, but I'm liking it.
True that. And I mean, especially Johnny is also a big Verstappen fan.
Yeah, but it came from, I'm watching the new show, well, not new, but the show on Netflix.
Oh, Drive to Survive?
Yes, and that's learning me a lot. I'm new to F1, so yeah. But in the series, I can see that Max is this. He's not the nice guy in Formula 1. I can always say he's the feisty fighter one. He doesn't care about, I can't say he doesn't care about anyone else, but he's just, when he sees a gap, he will take it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Max to me is the witty one, the one who always, like you say, when there's an opportunity, he's going to take it, even if the opportunity is small. And racing against a 7-time world champion in the form of Lewis Hamilton, he already gives you as little opportunities as possible. So when you have them, you have to take them. And I think that's one thing that actually Lewis is a bit, I wouldn't say afraid of, but that he's wary of this year. Because even the last person who did that was Nico Rosberg in 2016. And Max, to me, is more ruthless than Rosberg.
Yes, because
Okay, just take the bloody mic.
for me, I think Max is so ruthless because all these years the Red Bull couldn't really keep up, and now the Red Bull is sort of keeping up. He is taking charge. He will take the gap and he will fight for it because he wants to win. He's getting tired of Hamilton and Mercedes winning. He wants to take charge.
No, and that's an absolute fact. And once again, that's why I've said in every single podcast we've made so far, this is probably one of the best years ever to start watching Formula One, because we know it's going to be an exciting season. And Johnny, you can give that one a thumbs up, I'm sure about it.
Yeah, I've watched last year a little bit, and it was for me like, okay, Mercedes is dominating, what's there to watch? But this year is really exciting. I'm really enjoying it now.
Yeah, okay. Guys, before we talk the whole podcast about one single topic, let's move into the second topic. And that to me is, with all due respect to Red Bull, the fact that they didn't pit Max after Lewis went in for the second pit stop, I truly feel Red Bull screwed Max out of the victory.
I think it was they also said it's the same as 2019 Hungary, where Verstappen was leading. He had third hand tires, and they expected him to defend against brand new tires with a that time.
Yeah, Lewis there was a five-time world champion.
They expected him to defend that, and they did this again. I don't know.
I mean, even after the race, Christian Horner said that even if they pitted Max the very next lap, he would have come up behind Lewis, which is not true. When Max rounded the final corner, they had the gap in the top left hand of the screen, and the pit stop, if you had a good pit stop, it is 22 seconds from pit entry with your stop till pit exit. And Hamilton was 26 seconds behind Max, because when he came out of the pit lane, he hit traffic. He struggled throughout the second sector. We all know that Mercedes is not good in dirty air, as good as the Red Bull. And Hamilton got stuck in the middle sector. When Max rounded the final corner, the gap was 26 seconds. So Red Bull could have pitted Max and he would still have come out ahead of Lewis, even though it would have been by the skin of his teeth, but he would still have been leading, and they would have been in the same battle they were the whole race. And Max was defending like an absolute king the entirety of that Grand Prix.
Until he had no more tires.
Yeah, also true, but I mean, like you said, the tires weren't even second-hand. They were basically falling off the cliff. And with Mercedes already doing so much development on the car's unstable rear end, which I don't think is unstable anymore, well, as much as it was, you need rear instability coming out of the final corner at Catalonia. And that is exactly what Lewis had, and because of Max's tires, Max did not have that. So, Johnny, what is your opinion about the whole thing with Red Bull just keeping Max out and them hoping that he would stay ahead of Lewis?
I thought that was really a stupid mistake, because it happened in the past. Just learn from it. And after a race, I literally screamed at Red Bull because they did that. For me, it was, yes, maybe he would have come out behind, but then he had a fighting chance.
Also true. Even if Max came out behind Lewis, he would also have been on fresh tires. And like I've already said, the Red Bull is much friendlier than the Mercedes in dirty air. And I think Max would have been able to catch Lewis and pass him. That's my personal opinion.
And can we talk about whoever the person was to calculate it, who told Verstappen Hamilton will only catch him on the last lap? It was 6 laps to go. How do you screw that up?
Okay. I'm not trying to defend Red Bull here, but when he made the pit stop and he started catching Max, in the beginning, when Lewis was still getting through the traffic that he had to go through again after the pit stop, Lewis took about 0.8 to a second out per lap. As soon as Lewis was in dirty air, Red Bull worked off of 1 to 1.2 seconds per lap. As soon as Lewis got into clean air, some laps he took out 2 seconds a lap on Max. An average was 1.5, 1.6 seconds per lap. They told that to Max a few laps after the pit stop when Lewis was still stuck in traffic. When Lewis had clean air, we all know the Mercedes is a car built to drive at the front. It's a car that loves clean air. And Lewis being Lewis, there was nothing like a break. He just put foot to the floor. And in my personal opinion, his tires looked worse at the end of the race than Max's looked just before they went into the pit lane. Well, just before Lewis pitted. His tyres were dead. And I think Mercedes told Lewis, if you don't catch him before that, you're not going to have any tyres left by the rate you're driving.
For me, it was just like, for me, at that level of racing, they would have known. If you just take an average time of where the Mercedes tyres were fresh, and he was in clean air, it's obvious Mercedes will get past traffic. It's just a matter of time.
I think Red Bull might have been secretly hoping that Hamilton might just make contact with Verstappen. Oh, not with Verstappen, with Mazepin. With Mazepin. Because Lewis had to lap Mazepin, I think, for the second time again.
And I think when they noticed Bottas is not letting Hamilton pass as quickly as that Mercedes wanted them to let them pass. I think.
Yeah. While you're on that topic, let's jump a few topics quickly, because while we're on the Mercedes Red Bull topic, talking about Bottas, we're actually going to put two of these topics together, guys. The first topic is, and once again, this is meant with all due respect towards Bottas and to Mercedes, but if you do not realize this, you've been living under a rock. First of all, Bottas is Mercedes' puppet on a string, which is unfair towards Bottas. And second of all, let's just talk about the fact that Booster just brought up, which is this next topic. Bottas ignored the call from Mercedes to let Lewis pass. He should have let Lewis pass before the first corner. He passed Lewis at turn 10. That's the end of the second sector.
Yeah.
And, okay, first of all, I know, Craig, if you're listening to this podcast, I know you're going to hate me, but I enjoyed that. Since Bottas joined Mercedes back in 2017 when these wider cars started becoming a thing again, every time somebody of Mercedes, whether it's Toto, whether it's James, whoever comes on Bottas's radio, when they tell him, Bottas, please let Lewis pass, Bottas has offered up victories in the past to defend Lewis's championship. We are only at the 4th round in the championship, and Bottas, even though none of us really believe he's going to do it, but for Bottas' self-esteem, he still believes he can get his head into this championship. Why doesn't he need to listen to Mercedes? Lewis and Mercedes made the call to pit him. So Lewis needs to race back to Verstappen. And if that means getting past your teammate, who still has a chance in the championship, why does he want to have a free pass? This is not a video game where you buy a battle pass or something and you get all the items for free. You need to work for what you want. And even with Bottas keeping Lewis up, Lewis still won the race. So why are Mercedes complaining?
I think they just really delivering everything for Hamilton on a silver plate, and they are forgetting about Bottas' own feelings and what he wants to do, what his own goals, what he wants to do, and they are just prioritizing Hamilton a lot.
Okay.
Just not a little.
I actually want to ask Johnny this now, you being a new fan to F1 and obviously you watching Drive to Survive. I said it in the previous podcast when we talked about the Portuguese Grand Prix. I feel if Bottas has the right team behind him and the correct opportunities, Bottas is able to win a world championship. But what me and Booster said the previous podcast, remember, he got pole position in Portugal after qualifying. When he got pole, Mercedes didn't even celebrate. They literally left him alone while he was doing the interviews. But let that happen to Lewis, and Mercedes throw a party alongside the track. So what me and Boosted feel is Bottas has the talent and the capacity to be a future world champion, but he needs a team to support him. What is your opinion on this?
Well, I'm standing with you there. I didn't even realize that they didn't throw a party, but now that you say it, I'm like, wow. Now you know where the priorities of the team lies, and it's not by both of their drivers, it's only by that one. And also the fact that they want Lewis to pass Bottas as well, I think Bottas is getting a bit tired of it.
Oh, most definitely.
Yes, I think he is just like, just give me a chance. They don't want to give him a chance, and I think, yeah, he's getting frustrated.
He's putting his foot down, but for me it's little and
too late. No, but but one thing that astonishes me, people keep bashing Bottas and telling, well, especially on Formula One social media, Twitter is so toxic, but that Bottas is not on Lewis's level. But literally, a little bit more than 2 weeks ago back in Portugal, Valtteri kept Max and Lewis behind him for nearly 30 laps. They didn't know what to do to get past him. It's only when Lewis literally got away from Max that he finally had the opportunity to pass Bottas. And for 30 laps, I understand they did get past him, but he defended so well. A 7-time world champion and the young Max Verstappen, which we all know will be a future world champion, they didn't know how to get past him. And that to me speaks volumes. And I really just believe, the thing is, Bottas knows, as soon as he puts his foot down, Mercedes are going to do to him what they did to Rosberg. They're going to let him go. And he doesn't want that, because he knows that's the team that gives him the best opportunity to win his own world title. But as long as Lewis is there, he's not going to get that opportunity, because Lewis is Mercedes' golden boy.
Yeah.
But in any case, let's get on to the next topics before we keep getting toxic. But yeah, guys, I enjoyed the fact that Bottas put his foot down, and I'm sure Boosted and Johnny feel the same way about it. The sooner Bottas does this, the better, and I still believe if he really wants to, he can get his head into this championship. Now, jumping back towards our other topics, guys, once again, 2 topics being talked about at one time. This is a positive topic. The midfield battle in this 2021 season is absolutely insane, and we're talking specifically about the last 10 laps of that Grand Prix. Let's just quickly run through this. For P10, you had, who was the one holding up the grid? It was Alonso holding everybody up. Yeah. Behind Alonso, you had Raikkonen, Russell, Gasly, I think and Stroll as well. It was both the Aston Martin, so it was Vettel and Stroll behind Alonso. And then you had Raikkonen and Russell in that fight as well. Now let's quickly look at this. Alonso, 2-time world champion. Vettel, 4-time world champion. Raikkonen, former world champion. Russell, extremely talented driver. Pierre Gasly, a guy I believe is on the same level as Verstappen, even though that's a very unpopular opinion. And throughout that battle, Gasly was the one that came out the best. But Russell is in a Williams, which is clearly only faster than the Haas. The Alfa Romeo is quicker than the Williams. And he was busy mixing it with Stroll, Raikkonen, and Vettel.
And Alonso.
Yeah, but Alonso, after Russell overtook him, he just dived into the pit lane and swapped off, put on a set of soft tires to go for a fastest lap, which he did not get, but not the point. Those final 10 laps literally had me on the edge of my seat. And once again, Gasly, but not the point. I love Pierre, but the midfield battle throughout the season thus far, if you look at all the race results from P5, if you discount the Red Bulls and the Mercedes, from P5 all the way down to P14 to 16, the drivers are literally seconds away from each other, not miles, seconds. And we're only at the 4th round of this championship. We've got 23 races this year. We might lose one in Turkey, which would be sad. But that's still 22 races where we're going to watch a midfield battle that, in my opinion, has been the best midfield Formula One has ever had.
And it's going to get closer, getting closer. And for me, this is fantastic, because this will show the experienced drivers, Alonso and Vettel, what they are made of. And it will show what the young drivers are also made of, because I bet you Vettel and Alonso got a real good taste what these younger drivers can do.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at Stroll and Russell, Vettel is the experienced one in Aston Martin. Yes, it's his first season, but Stroll and Russell were giving Vettel a very hard time those final 4 laps. Russell in that Williams was merciless. If it wasn't for Stroll being the buffer between them, I don't think Vettel would have kept Russell behind him.
And I'm still just amazed that Russell could get that Williams so far.
Yeah. And I mean, looking towards the rest of the season, like say for instance McLaren has a small loss in pace, which in this weekend Norris totally had, but Ricciardo, well done. But just imagine yourself, you put a Norris and a Ricciardo, you add them to that battle. You add a Yuki Tsunoda, which, what was it, I think lap 8 when his car bummed out. You add all these young, and Ricardo being a talented veteran, still with a fair few years ahead of him, you add all these guys to that mix. I so hope somewhere within this season we have a battle from 5th to 14th, and the cars are literally, you can throw a blanket over them. Please, Monza. Please let that happen at Monza.
Oh, Monaco, because you can't pass, but Monza's
Yeah. Can't wait for the qualifying in Monaco, best qualifying of the season. But Johnny, I mean, even you now recently becoming a Ricardo fan, and also I know you've got you like Lando, and you've seen what they've been able to do on track. The midfield battle with all the cars, it feels to me like it's F2. Some weekends it's just about who's got the better setup, and that's the quick team. Adding them to that battle, I think, to certain extent, that's a better battle than Lewis and Max at the front.
Yeah, if you think about it, it's like how the race weekends are. It's like, okay, who's gonna win, Hamilton or Max? Okay, but did you see that midfield? Did you see that midfield?
So, yeah, Johnny, just what's your opinion about the whole midfield in general? I mean...
Well, the midfield only came surprising to me at the qualifying. I mean, it was two or three tenths only between like P5 to P14, and that kind of just made me wonder what's going to happen the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, look at the midfield. You've got McLaren, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Alpine, AlphaTauri, and at some tracks Alfa Romeo. That's 12 cars.
Yeah.
That's 6 teams, it's 2 cars each team, that's 12 cars battling away. And we didn't put it in this thing, but we talked about it in last week's podcast. People can say what they want about Giovinazzi, but in qualifying, Gio always shows up. So it's not just Kimi that's carrying Alfa Romeo. But all these drivers, and it's just like every weekend, it feels to me like the midfield is getting all better.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing, even you can agree to this, Boosted, if there's one thing that can make Monaco exciting, is if we have a good midfield battle.
Yeah, I think it's gonna make it very good, and I think this Monaco will show which drivers are ready to take the needed risk.
Okay, true that, because Monaco is very tight.
It is tight. It's not very tight. It is very tight.
Yeah, your favorite track on the calendar.
It's crash, yes. If, like we say, when you are like 4, you buy a farm. If I have to count crashes, I have like
You own Monaco now.
I own Monaco. Because I bet you I crashed even on the straights. I crashed. I don't know how I crashed.
So Johnny, maybe you're not as bad at the F1 game as you think. Maybe Boosted, when it comes to Monaco, you can beat him.
I've never driven Monaco yet. I've put it out for that reason.
Guys, let me know in the comments down below. Would you like to see Johnny drive Monaco for the first time on the channel with live commentary?
Yes. Yes.
Future video coming. We have to do that. But yeah, guys, once again, midfield is absolutely insane when you look at all the drivers. And talking about the midfield, I mentioned him already. We're quickly going to talk about, once again, in my opinion, the man of the hour who won that midfield battle, and that is Pierre frickin' Gasly.
My nose is itching.
Thank you, Boosted, for telling everybody around the world your nose is itching. In any case, guys, when the midfield battle started, Pierre was in P15, P14 ahead of Russell. He had to get through both the Aston Martins, Alonso, Raikkonen, and I think he almost who finished in P10. Who finished in P9? Norris. He was busy catching Norris in the final few laps, but Norris was just freaking years ahead. And where is Gasly finding this late race pace? It seems to me every weekend, as soon as the race starts, Gasly's nowhere, and as soon as the race gets to half distance, Gasly becomes the quickest guy on track.
Yeah, I hope in the future he will be fast throughout the race, because if he keeps up with the okay, we're halfway. I should actually drive. You're not gonna be able to catch, because I think if he's gonna keep on realizing at the last second where he needs to pass everyone, I think he's glad that everyone thought that those 5 places was in a battle.
Also true, but Johnny, what is your opinion on Gasly? I mean, Gasly to me personally is driving brilliantly.
What's it?
Gasly's in the AlphaTauri, Tsunoda's teammate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, guys, you guys can see Johnny is still a new F1 fan. He's still learning all the drivers.
Well, only comparing the 2 drivers. I mean, where was Yuki Tsunoda?
His car broke in the beginning of the race. So.
Okay, of course, but the race previous from that, I think Gasly, I won't say maybe he's carrying the team a bit because he's the only one who scored points.
Yes.
So I mean, yeah, I think it's a good battle. I love it. So
okay,
yeah.
but I mean, let's to prove a point to boost it. Okay, Gasly at Bahrain, yes, he broke his front wing at the back of Ricciardo's car, and then at the end of the race he DNF'd due to, I think it was overheating issues. But you go to Emilia-Romagna, the second round, Gasly finished P7 after being screwed by AlphaTauri at the beginning of the race with the wet tires. He was behind the Haas cars, if I'm not, no, he was just ahead. I think he was in between. I think he was behind Schumacher, but ahead of Mazepin.
Everyone was ahead of Mazepin.
Okay, but he fought back to P7. Go to Portugal, once again, halfway through the race, I think Gasly was sitting in P14. He ended in P10, still got a point. Tsunoda, where was Tsunoda in? Tsunoda finished P15 in Portugal, and I know he was outside the points with, he had the spin at the end of the race at Imola. And now going towards Spain, Gasly once again finishes P10, and Tsunoda, it's not Tsunoda's fault, his car broke, but once again Gasly makes sure that the AlphaTauri gets points.
No, I will give credit where credit's due, because if you look at it, he passed Stroll. Okay, Stroll is good, but he's not a world champion.
I mean, as soon as he overtook Raikkonen, he was busy extending the gap.
He passed Raikkonen, a world champion, the oldest man driving an F1 car. Sebastian Vettel, a 4-time world champion, he passed.
And he was ahead of Giovinazzi. Well, yeah, he was in between Russell and I think it was at that stage Stroll ahead of him, but he basically went through with Stroll.
I think he also passed Alonso.
Yeah, he passed Alonso.
He passed. Okay, Alonso is 2-time. Raikkonen's
1 and Vettel is 4. That's 7 world championships. That's as much as Lewis Hamilton has. That's sad to say, but in any case.
But he passed very experienced people, so I will give credit where credit's due, but I just want to put it out there. I think the race starts needs to pick up that pace just a little bit for me, because he can't rely on his halfway race. I know I have to race now.
Okay, no, I get that. I realize Gasly has to work on his racing start pace. But also Tsunoda has also mentioned that they're struggling with the AlphaTauri on heavy fuel. The AlphaTauri is very, very sensitive and unreliable on the rear end on heavy fuel. So I think Gasly feels where the limits are in the beginning of the race, and as soon as the car gets to a certain weight when they burn fuel, he's just like, okay, let's send it. I'm getting a Vin Diesel type of vibe. The car's already running, but he pops a wheelie. You know, that type of effect. Because Gasly, literally, I think it was on lap 52, just after Lewis pit. Lewis set the fastest lap, and literally 30 seconds later when Gasly crossed the line, he took the fastest lap.
Yeah.
Now obviously Lewis broke that again because Lewis was on brand spanking new tyres, but that was after Lewis was already through the traffic. Gasly was busy racing at the same pace, and Lewis Hamilton was busy chasing down Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas. Yeah. So that to me speaks volumes. But once again, before we talk the whole podcast about Gasly, because you know I will, I love that guy. Final 3 topics, guys, and once again, fantastic weekend from Ferrari. Charles Leclerc P4, Carlos Sainz P7. At the beginning of the weekend during practice, Mattia Binotto, the team principal at Ferrari, said they thought that they were going to struggle to get points. And little did they know, Charles Leclerc was just like, haha, funny. I'm going to pass Bottas around the outside and fight for a podium for like a quarter of the race. And Sainz, in that second stint, was on fire. I think he came out of the pit lane in P11 and he passed everybody.
Yeah, I think I understand. Oh, I can't remember his name.
Binotto.
That guy. I understand he doesn't want to be overconfident because of last year, but I think Sainz and Leclerc are just getting more and more comfortable with this year's car, and they are like, go quick fast, go quick fast.
Yeah, but I mean, I watched the move that Sainz made. It was on the F1 social media that Sainz made on Ocon. And Ocon this weekend, once again, was on a flyer, especially in qualifying. But the move on Ocon, we all saw the move where Perez went around the outside of Ricciardo. Sainz did exactly the same thing. Just much smoother. Perez went off track when he made the move. He had the left side wheels going off track. Sainz made the move as a hot knife through butter. It was smooth and it was silky smooth, and yet the producer truck did not show that. Why? F1 TV in any case. But smooth move around the outside of Esteban Ocon. And one thing that Ferrari have admitted, yes, the engine is better, but it's still the weakest engine on the track when it comes to horsepower.
Well, our Leclerc passed Bottas in the start, he didn't lick that.
Yeah, well, Bottas had to lift because Lewis had a tank slapper going through the corner. So Bottas had to lift for Lewis. And then Charles was just like, hello. Just quickly, Johnny, what is your opinion on Ferrari's recent pace? I mean, they went well in Portugal. They went well in Imola. They both were in the top 5. And once again, if Sainz just had, in my opinion, a little bit of a better race strategy, I think he would have been able to be with Leclerc in the top 5. But Ferrari are doing so much better, and I mean, you watched a few races last year. You know how pathetic Ferrari was last year.
Yeah.
So
for me, it's nice to see Ferrari at the top of the field again. When I watched last year, it was a bit of a shock to me to see Ferrari so far back. So it's a nice thing for me to see them getting where they are now. It would be nicer if they can to win this year.
Start of the year, so
I want once again go back to the WTF1 podcast, and I checked out actually some of their social medias with a few of the members who are a part of WTF1, and some of their predictions were that they see that Ferrari are going to win at least 2 races this season. It's a bold prediction, but I mean, we all said it, and after me and you said after the preseason testing that McLaren would be the team to pick up the win if Mercedes and Red Bull screw up. But we all know Ferrari and McLaren are at the same pace currently. So it would be, if Mercedes and Red Bull really have a bad weekend, I really feel that it would be between any one of those 4 drivers. Norris is just on a new level this year. He wasn't this weekend, but we'll talk about that in a second. Ricciardo is very quickly adjusting to that McLaren. Leclerc is obviously used to the Ferrari. He's doing wonders. And Sainz is doing exactly the same as Ricciardo. He's getting used to the Ferrari so quickly. And I mean, basically, Ricciardo took Sainz's place at McLaren, and Sainz went to Vettel's place, not the point. But the Ferrari isn't the absolute donkey that it was last year. And Sainz is quick. Sainz matches Leclerc in qualifying.
And I think he's saying he is still getting used to it, so I want to see him when he's going constantly say he is used to car. I want to see what that pace is.
Leclerc's got a problem with Sainz. If Leclerc sleeps on Sainz, I've said it multiple times, he's got a problem. Sainz is quick.
And I think, don't think we can go to the next topics alone, because we're talking about Norris. I think for next weekend, we should watch Ricciardo, because Ricciardo was always good at Monaco.
Very true, very true.
He was faster than Verstappen around Monaco.
Yeah, he was. Ricciardo is basically, in my opinion, he took Kimi's place as the Monaco king. But that's just because Kimi's in a backmarker car. But I really would need to keep an eye on Ricciardo this weekend. I know Johnny is, because he loves Ricciardo. He loves Daniel. But guys, talking about the second half of the McLaren garage, Lando Norris, where was Lando this weekend? Lando, in the first 3 races of the season, he was in the top 5. I mean, he was untouchable throughout the rest of the midfield. I mean, Ricciardo was battling the midfield, Norris was just gone. And this weekend, he was gone, but at the opposite end of where he was. So, I don't know, I didn't read any reports about Norris maybe struggling with something with the car. He just wasn't there this weekend.
I think It was good. I think it was. I hope it opened Norris's eyes, and I think we got too used for Norris being constantly in the top 5. We were like, okay, where is he now? But I'm glad to say Ricciardo stepped up for the McLaren part, so McLaren didn't fail, but I think Norris, he didn't glue well with this track.
Yeah, but Norris, when I look back at 2020 and 2019, Norris has struggled around Catalonia. I just think that he doesn't gel with the track. I mean, also with preseason testing, the past 2 years, 3 years ago and 2 years ago, Norris always complained about the track itself when it came to preseason testing. So I just think Norris he didn't know what to do this weekend basically. But like you said, luckily Ricciardo came up for McLaren. I mean, Leclerc was P5, P4, Ricciardo was P5. No, Ricciardo was P6. Yeah, Perez was P5, wasn't? Yeah, Perez was P5. Yes, but Ricciardo maintained P5 until I think Perez overtook him with about 8 laps to go.
And that was with new tyres. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, so Ricciardo really came up this weekend, and I'm really glad to see that, because even me not being a big Danny Rick fan, I want to see Ricciardo doing good. He's a very likable character, and he's the one guy in the paddock that always has a smile on his face. So even though I'm not a Ricciardo fan, I love to see him doing good. And one thing that I love to see, Sainz and Norris made the McLaren vibe so friendly and so just a nice vibe, and Ricciardo has just gone into that vibe and he's just made it bigger. McLaren, without a shadow of a doubt, is the happiest team on the grid.
Yes, and I can't wait for the day when Norris is in his fast pace,
in his prime,
and Ricciardo is at that level, because that's going to be juicy.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, just to quickly bring something back up from the last podcast so Johnny can join in on this, guys. Me and Booster said with the podcast of the Portuguese Grand Prix, you look at all the young drivers coming up. So we can add Mick Schumacher to that list. You've got George Russell, Lance Stroll, Yuki Tsunoda, Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, and the big boy Max Verstappen. Those are 10 drivers, that's half the grid, who are going to be in Formula 1 for many years to come if their careers stay like they are now. Imagine just 6 of those drivers in top cars. The immense championship battles we will be able to witness 3-4 years from now.
That would be actually getting goosebumps. I'm actually getting goosebumps just thinking about it, so it's going to be exciting to see one day.
I mean, also actually with Verstappen and Ricciardo, I mean, you also like Charles. And one thing actually, Johnny, that I wish you could have seen in 2018 when Charles started racing for Formula 1, he raced for which is now Alfa Romeo. It was Sauber back then. That was the first year they had the Alfa Romeo livery, and you can ask Boosted, the Sauber was an absolute crap car in 2018, but Leclerc, basically every second weekend he would get points, like something like P7, P8. He was stupidly quick. And that's why literally when 2019 came, Ferrari were just like, okay, just get in the car. We know it's a lot of pressure, but you can do the same as what Max did. And if I just think about a Leclerc versus Verstappen versus Ricciardo championship battle, goosebumps. I'm just like, and then you've got these other drivers, Norris, Russell, Schumacher maybe being their teammates, also mixing it in for the other points. I think it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal thing as soon as all the old guys go out, naming, even though I love 2 of them, Alonso, Vettel and Raikkonen. As soon as that, and Hamilton as well. Hamilton is close to 40 now, isn't he? I think he's 38 or 37 or 38.
I don't know, and I don't care.
But in any case, as soon as all these older guys go out, and I mean, even Bottas is starting to get towards that age. I think Bottas is now turning 31 or 32. But all these young, hungry drivers, it's going to be amazing. And I honestly can't wait for that.
Yes.
So, but I think we should actually do a podcast about like a fantasy 2026 championship, where we choose which drivers are on which cars and just have our own little imaginative championship battle. I think that would be a very fun thing to do. But okay, guys.
Then my brain's going to be dead.
It's okay, that's your problem, not ours.
But now we can talk about the elephant in the room.
Yes. Guys, Mick Schumacher it's the final topic, by the way, before we head into the driver ratings, is destroying Nikita Mazepin in that Haas.
Yeah.
I mean, this weekend in Portugal, Mazepin was more than a minute behind Schumacher at the end of the checkered flag.
And
Mazepin was 4 laps down. Schumacher was 3 laps down. In Spain, Schumacher beat Mazepin again after there was a safety car. He beat Mazepin again with 47 seconds.
Yeah.
So
The same car.
exactly. The thing is, we all know the Haas is the slowest car this year without a shadow of a doubt. But where's Nikita Mazepin? He was last year part of the Formula 2 World Championship, and yeah. I mean, okay, I know the entire world hates Mazepin, but you can say what you want about the guy. He's talented, but he just hasn't shown up for Formula 1.
He was talented last year, but he's not yet this year. He will be remembered nicely, but I don't think.
There's rumors that Günther Steiner, the team principal at Haas, is thinking about dropping Mazepin before the summer break. And that's Hungary. That's 8 rounds away. No, 7 rounds away.
You will know that. I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
But so
hopefully, I don't know how I feel about it, but I think it's more a mindset sort of thing. I didn't think he switched over to F1.
Very, very possible.
Realizing he's in a slower car and he's the newbie there.
Yeah.
Maybe his mindset is not right for F1 at this stage, but we never know. He could pick up the pace when he needs
And
to,
I think
before it's too late.
I think for me, he's a little bit too cocky.
Yeah.
Because if you go and see all the times where he's just a little bit in practice behind someone, he gets on the radio immediately. But then the thing I want to talk about, I saw it was Ocon and Stroll.
Yeah.
They posted, they said they are a little bit afraid about overlapping Mazepin because they don't know what he's going to do. He's a big unknown, and they feel he's a risk.
He's ignoring the blue flags, basically.
He got last weekend at Portugal.
2 weeks ago.
The last race, the second last race, okay? I won't put weeks in it. That's the Portugal race. Whilst he was a minute behind
Schumacher.
not the leaders, Schumacher, his own teammate, that's just in front of him. He got a 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags. That's where the meme came in. Like, there's a guy in a swimming pool that's like being then it says Mazepin a minute by his own teammate, and then he's throwing water on himself. 5-second penalty. He's like, what's the point?
No, look, I'm not somebody that usually hates on drivers, guys, but most of the Formula 1 community feels Mazepin does not deserve to be in Formula 1, which I'm a part of. But he's basically got 7 to 8 races to prove himself whether he's going to stay in Formula 1 or not. But guys, that's been the talking points for this video. Let's head into the driver ratings. Now, we've talked a lot already, so we're going to try and run a little bit quicker through this than usual. So, Johnny, you can tell us the rating out of 10 for the 2 Haas drivers, Mazepin and Schumacher.
Okay, Mazepin 1 out of 10 and Schumacher 6 out of 10.
Guys, Boosted is losing his mind because on Johnny's cell phone, where he's got the script for this video, it's like the tiniest letters in the world. You need a microscope to see them, and Boosted is trying to look onto Johnny's phone, but he can't see anything.
Johnny makes me feel blind because my text is regular size, and he makes me feel blind. He makes me feel blind.
Okay, any case, back to the topic. Boosted, you can rage about that later. So, Mazepin got a 1 out of 10 and Schumi a 6 out of 10. Once again, solid weekend from Schumi, and Mazepin was just nowhere once again. Okay, Boosted, the 2 Williams drivers.
Okay, we gave don't put the mic through my face, please. Okay, let's see if he's 5 out of 10. I would say he's starting to get
Yeah, he's
better.
slowly but surely matching Russell, which is good.
And Russell, he's just an alien. That's why Latifi is looking so slow, because Russell is not human, he's an alien. Can confirm
Verstappen 2.0.
he broke out of Area 51. He doesn't. Where does Russell come from?
No, I don't. He's from Britain, but I don't know.
Okay, he didn't come from Britain. That's his cover. He came from America. He's escaped Area 51. He got a 7 out of 10, and he wants to do the Alfa Romeo.
Yes. Now heading towards the 2 Alfa Romeos, guys. Once again, Raikkonen being in that battle for 10th position at the end of the race with Gasly, Vettel, Stroll, Russell, all these drivers. We gave Raikkonen a 7 out of 10. And guys, Giovinazzi, basically Gio didn't get a lot of screen time, but it was still not a bad weekend from Gio. I think Gio ended 15th or 16th, but he was just there. So, but not a bad weekend, but also not a good weekend. So we've taken Gio right down the middle. It's a 5 out of 10 from Giovinazzi. Johnny, heading towards the 2 Aston Martins.
Okay, Stroll. Lost my place. 6 out of 10. And Vettel 5 out of 10.
Okay guys, now with this ranking, I quickly want to say something. We each give a rating out of 10 who's on the group. So that's me, Boosted, Johnny, Demi, and Adrian. Now Adrian didn't give a ranking, so we took 4 rankings and worked out the average. Now I personally gave Vettel also a 6 out of 10. Because I felt Vettel and Stroll they were with each other, alongside each other the whole weekend. They were on similar pace, which is for me good news because Vettel is starting to get used to the car. But overall, Stroll did perform better in the race, and he nearly got a point if it wasn't for Gasly. So yeah, good weekend from Aston Martin. And Boosted, you've got the 2 Alpha Tauris as soon as he unlocks his phone.
Okay, for Gasly, because he drove fantastically, he got an 8 out of 10. And for me, Tsunoda got a 3 out of 10 because yes, his engine broke, but if I remember correctly, he didn't make it through Q1.
Yeah, he was literally out in Q1. He got 16th. Which
was close.
Yeah, it was close, but Yuki just didn't gel with the car. And I mean, the way he warmed up the tires on his outlap was just too aggressive. He had no tires left come the end of the lap, and that's why he went wide at the 4th to last corner when he ate a bit of gravel.
Yeah,
the tires were busy overheating. So
yeah, that was his own rookie mistake, because he thought the outlap for qualifying was the Sunday race.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to pass everyone. I don't know, just find the gap, get a slipstream down the straight, which helps, and you could have got a better time.
I mean, guys, Gasly. Tsunoda was out by 7 1,000ths of a second. That's 0,007. Literally, just not going wide at the corner where he did would have gotten him into Q2. But still, not a representable weekend from Yuki Tsunoda. Now heading in towards the 2 Alpines, yes, guys, once again, Ocon was on fire this weekend, especially in qualifying. So Ocon gets a 9 out of 10, and unfortunately Alonso, even though he's my favorite of all time, didn't have a good race, and the Alpine was very hard on its tires around Catalonia. So with Alonso being in that final battle at the end of the race but completely falling away, Alonso gets a 5 out of 10. Johnny, you've got the 2 Ferraris of Sainz and Leclerc.
Leclerc 10 out of 10.
Yes,
Of course.
beautiful. P4 in the race.
Yeah.
Let's go, Charles.
And Sainz 7 out of 10. I think it's just only the fact because he was a bit off pace.
Yeah, but still, anything above a 6 in my opinion is a fantastic result.
It's-
So, ooh, my headset is falling out. Beautiful. Turbo boosted. You've got the 2 McLarens.
This seems so weird for me, because I'm so used to Norris getting high points. So Ricciardo got a 9 out of 10 because he drove like a boss.
Beautiful race from Daniel.
And Norris, I think he's just struggling with this Catalonia. We'll have to see how he's at Monaco. He got a 4 out of 10 for this race.
Yeah, it's Lando's first bad ranking, so not the end of the world. Now heading in towards the 2 Mercedes, guys. Bottas, I have to be honest, Bottas, even though he did have a nice little scrap with Lewis at the end of the race, Bottas just wasn't on the pace of Verstappen and Hamilton. And yes, I know he got stuck behind Leclerc for like a third of the race, but still Bottas, in my opinion, should have performed better. So Bottas gets a 6 out of 10, and Hamilton Guys, just a fantastic race. I mean, being 26 plus, I think 27 seconds in total behind, still catching up, passing a very, very vigilant teammate, and also Max, even though their tires were gone, and still winning. Lewis gets a 9 out of 10. Beautiful race from Lewis. And Johnny, you've got the final team of Red Bull.
Max Verstappen 9 out of 10 and Perez 5 out of 10.
Okay, guys, just solid weekend from Red Bull. Perez was a little bit nowhere, but Max did everything he could to keep Lewis back. I feel him and Lewis, well, we feel him and Lewis drove equal races. They both get 9 out of 10s. Now, guys, the standings after Portugal, the third run in the championship for our own little created Constructors' Championship, was Haas in 10th on 24 points. Williams were in 9th on 31. 8th was Aston Martin on 34. AlphaTauri were in P7 on 37. Alfa Romeo were P6 on 38 points. Alpine jumped to P5 after I think they were 8th. Onto 43 points. Mercedes were in 4th with 45 points. Ferrari 3rd on 50. McLaren 2nd on 52. And Red Bull were 1st with 54 points. Now, adding all the drivers' points on after round 4. Johnny, can you please read for me 10th to 7th?
Okay, Haas 31 points, P10, P9 Williams 43, Aston Martin 45, and the AlphaTauri at 48.
Okay, and AlphaTauri is P7 and Aston Martin P8. Boosted, you've got 6th to 3rd.
I will read the last part, the previous results, and I want to say, I think Johnny almost said Alpha, not Alpha. But yeah, Alfa Romeo 50 points.
In which position?
6th place. I was at 7th place. In 5th place, Alpine with 57 points. Mercedes still in 4th, got 60 points. McLaren and Ferrari
Just McLaren.
They dropped a place. They went to 3rd, and they got 65.
And guys, in the top 2, this is what's awesome to me. Actually, McLaren, I'm quickly going to talk about McLaren as well in our own little Constructors' Championship. McLaren's on 65 in 3rd. Ferrari in 2nd are on 67 points. And Red Bull, who are still leading the way, are only on 68 points. So Ferrari and McLaren are really giving Red Bull a good run for their money. But now, guys, heading in towards the predictions for Spain, which actually they went decent for all of us. So Johnny, no wait, I'll read mine, Boosted, you read yours, and then Johnny, you can read Demi's and your own with the points. So for the 2021 Spanish Grand Prix Team Motorsport Lounge predictions, well, the Motorsport Lounge predictions, my predictions were that we would have an exciting race, which I think deserved my 5 points. Because it was a very exciting race, especially thanks to the midfield. Then Sonora top 10, we will not talk about that one. And then finally Alonso in the top 5, which completely blew up in my face. So I only got 5 points for saying it was an exciting race, and it was. Boosted, you've got the floor.
I went with Alonso and Sainz in the top 10. I was really close.
You were close.
Alonso tires did die, so yeah, my feelings also died.
0.
I got 0. Perez on the podium. He got P5.
P5, yes.
Was close but no cigar. And Ricardo top 8. So that's where I got my 5 points, because he finished
P6.
P6. I would say that's
okay, Johnny, you've got the floor for Demi and yourself.
Okay, so Demi predicted Gio in the points. Unfortunately not. George and Alonso battle at 1 point.
Which is where she got her point, because when Alonso fell back, Russell overtook Alonso. So well done, Demi. Very bold and accurate prediction.
Yeah, and Bottas win, unfortunately not. But maybe in the future.
And Johnny, for the final time where you can say Verstappen wins as a prediction.
Fine, it's my last time I'll do it. For now.
Yeah, for now.
Verstappen wins. Unfortunately not. Perez podium, P5, and Ricardo in the top 6.
Which you were actually spot on, because you got P6.
P6.
So guys, everybody of the top 4 got points. Unfortunately, Adrian did not give any predictions, so he got a fat round 0. So the current standings where I did not put the standings because I am stupid. Guys, I'll put the standings for you guys on the screen. That's my mistake in the script, so excuse that. You guys will see the standings on the screen of where we all stand. Now, heading in towards the final part of the video, the 2021 Monaco Grand Prix predictions. Alright, so my predictions are we have a wet quali or race. So throughout qualifying on Saturday or the race on Sunday, we're going to have a few spots of rain. That's what I'm hoping to make Monaco a little bit more exciting. My second prediction is that both Alpha Tauris qualify inside the top 10. So they both make Q3. Yeah, that's a big one. And the final one is I said the experienced veteran Sebastian Vettel will finish the race inside the top 10 for Aston Martin. I'm really going bold. Boosted, your 3 predictions for Monaco.
My 3 predictions, I said one of the top 10 in the finish results, one of those drivers will have a penalty.
Oof.
I said Hamilton qualifies outside the top 3.
Ooh, okay.
And I said Perez top 5.
Okay, Johnny, quickly read your predictions. I'll read Demi's predictions because I quickly want to say something about her predictions. So read yours, please.
Okay. Mine, Alonso top 10. I really hope he can get into the points.
He was.
Ricardo top 5. I think he's comfortable with the car, so it's maybe possible.
And we just told you a few minutes ago, Monaco is Ricardo's track.
Yeah.
So I think you're safe with that one.
And then Perez and Bottas fight for the last spot on the podium.
Okay, now guys, heading in towards Demi's predictions, she always goes, there isn't something like a little bold. She goes super bold, and I'm just waiting for that time when Demi is just going to get all 3 predictions spot on and she's going to get a full-blown 16 points. But finally she is on the board because she got her first points with her Spanish prediction, so she is on 5, I can tell you guys that at least. But Demi's 3 predictions are, one of the Ferraris are in the top 5, so a Ferrari top 5, either one of them or both of them. Then Ricardo sorry, wrong one. First lap crash when it's Monaco, so there's a very big possibility for that. And then she said Hamilton P2 finish. So if Hamilton finishes anywhere else except P2, that's no points. But I feel this is Demi's first real opportunity to get a full-blown 16 points. So I'm actually scared of this prediction. And guys, unfortunately, Adrian just has not yet sent us his predictions. If he does, I will put it up on with letters on the screen. But guys, that has been the podcast for the 2021 Spanish Grand Prix from us here at the Motorsport Lounge. And just quickly before we say goodbye, Johnny, did you enjoy your first time doing the podcast?
It was very nice. Hopefully I can be here the next time as well.
Yes, the more the merrier. And any final thoughts for that you want to say before we say goodbye to all our beautiful viewers?
Nope, just hope the next race is going to be a beautiful one.
Yeah, let's hope it's wet. Come on, predictions, I need these points. In any case, alright. Who's that? Any final comments from you?
I would say a eventful Monaco race, please. Just not drivers following each other.
Yeah, hopefully there's more overtaking, and I know it's Monaco, but
it's impossible, but a man can believe.
I say again, just keep praying for a wet race.
If it's wet, you can't still overtake.
Yeah, you can. It's
not the game.
You need cajonas. But guys, my final comments is just I always feel Monaco is a track that just needs to stay on the Formula 1 calendar. There's a reason it's the most prestigious Grand Prix to win. And
the cars narrower, please. Just for that race.
No, the cars are sexy. Leave the cars alone. But guys, I think it's going to be a good weekend. You've got Verstappen and Hamilton. You've got Perez and Bottas. You've got an insane midfield. I think this is going to be the one year where Monaco actually is a very exciting race. But guys, that is all the time we have had now. I think we've already talked your ears off for more than an hour. So we're going to say goodbye. Make sure, guys, to leave a like down below on the video. If it's your first time visiting Turbo Fox Races, make sure to hit that subscribe down below. Don't forget to ding that bell. And finally, please go check out the links in the description down below. I would highly appreciate that. And Johnny, say your goodbyes.
Goodbye, everyone, and see you next time.
Boosted? Cheerio. Guys, I'll see y'all for the next video. Love you guys. Cheers!